favorite nurse, Jasmine. I'm back today with another video. So today's video is actually going to be Nurse Miss semester wrap up. Yes, we are officially done with the first semester of FNP school. I'm so excited. Like, I needed this break because mentally, like, I checked out maybe about 4 weeks ago. I was just over it, and I will kind of get into everything during this video. So this is basically going to let you guys know how the semester went, my thoughts on each of my classes, as well as my final grades. I will have a separate video telling you guys what my next semester classes are, as well as what where I'm planning on doing my clinicals at. So make sure that you're subscribed and that the notification button is on, so that way you do not miss that video. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this, because it's probably going to be a little long. So sis, grab some tea, grab some juice, some water, something, because we might be here for a little bit. Okay guys, so the school that I'm attending does not allow you to take your classes in like kind of a block schedule. So where like each class individually is 5, 6, or 8 weeks, and then you move on to the next class. It actually goes by semesters. This is the first time that I actually went to a college that does it like this. I've always taken classes that are like 5 to 8 weeks long. So by these classes all being 16 weeks, your girl was shook. It was a lot to adjust to, and it is basically what I struggle with the most, is making sure that I was on top of everything. I didn't leave anything out. I didn't forget about a class. I had all of my due dates written down. Everything was in my planner, but I also should have put everything on a big wall planner as well, just so I have 2 places to see it, because there were some weeks where I thought I was ahead of the game and I actually was a little bit behind, and then there was some weeks where I was like rushing to get things done to make sure that everything was submitted on time, because none of my teachers were with the whole, if it's late we'll take a couple of points off. No, if it's late and it's not turned in, it's a 0. So I had to make sure that I was on my P's and Q's, cross my T's and dot my I's, and that all of my assignments were getting turned in on time. And when you're working part-time and your days fluctuate, like I never work the same 2 days a week or every other week or whatever. Like, my schedule is always different. So I am a full-time student, and the reason that I am a full-time student is because I want to be done in 2 years. For those of you who are new to this channel, I am a military spouse. I know some of you guys get confused and think that I am actually in the military, and I am not. My husband is in the military. I just have to move and switch my location when the Army tells me that I have to. So to clarify that, I am not in the Army. My husband is in the Army. I have to make sure that I am done within 2 years, because once it's time for us to go, I don't want to have anything holding me here, and I don't want to be like coming up on my last semester or not quite finished and it's time for me to go. And then it requires me to stay here until I finish school while my husband and my kids go elsewhere. So I am full-time, so instead of doing it in a 3-year program and being part-time, which would have been a lot less stressful for me, I decided to do it in 2 years, but that requires me to be a little bit more under pressure because of the course load is just so much. This semester I did take a total of 12 credits, and it was so hard. Like, keeping up with every single thing that I had to do was just difficult. My organizational skills suck, and I've found that out this semester, and I definitely am going to put myself in a better position to be better prepared next semester, now that I know what to expect. I think the unknown took me off guard as well, but now that I kind of know what to expect and kind of how the course load is going to be, and that is very fast paced, I have a better idea of how to get myself organized. So I'm going to get myself prepared for that within the next couple of weeks before next semester even starts. So the classes that I took this semester was Nurse as an Educator, Family Nursing Theory, Advanced Clinical Pathophysiology, and I also took Advanced Health Assessment. So I had to do clinical patho and I had to do assessment in order to go to next semester, which is when I start my clinicals. So most people who are in the FNP program, who do FNP programs online, usually they don't start clinicals until the 2nd year. However, this school, they're like, nope, you have to get all these hours in order to qualify to sit for boards. So we're going to actually start you in the spring semester. So I had to make sure to get health assessment and patho done this semester, and I had to pass in order to get to next semester, which I had to pass all these classes. So I'm going to talk about my 2 fluff classes first, so I can kind of get those out of the way. Nurse as an Educator and Family Nursing Theory were both fluff classes. I feel like they were just fillers in order to get a certain amount of credits. So as a nurse, you know the importance of dealing with families, you know how to communicate with them, why it is so vital to include them on the health of whoever the patient is that you're taking care of. And I think that is the same thing as a family nurse practitioner. I don't know, the objectives are still the same, so it was kind of easy to do because I BS my way through most of like the discussions and things like that using examples of patients that I had already taken care of. But I felt like it was a fluff class that required me to do a lot of work. There was a big assessment paper that we had to do, and I'm sorry guys, my eyes are watering so bad. My sinuses are so bad right now, and yeah, this makeup is just not, doesn't have a chance. But anyway, we had a big assessment paper, and then my assessment paper turned into a family intervention paper. So I had I believe my first paper was a total of 10 pages, and then my second paper was a total of 8. I got deemed most of the time for my APA format, and it is crazy because in my Nurse as an Educator class, they wanted their APA format differently than my Family Nursing Theory wanted their APA. Even though APA is supposed to be standard, each instructor kind of has their own way of doing things. So I would often switch those back and forth. For example, one teacher wanted me to put a page number on the title page. The other teacher or professor didn't want me to do that, and sometimes I would actually forget who wanted what, and then I would submit the wrong thing, and then I would get points taken off for that. Some people wanted us to double space. Some instructors wanted us to do 1.5 space. So even though there's supposed to be a standard, you still have to figure out what your instructor wants, and then you need to write it down, which I did not do, and I'm definitely going to do next semester. And you need to just write down what all they want, and that way you have it as a reference when you're doing your assignments. That class wasn't hard, but it was definitely time consuming, and yeah, just a lot of 2-page scholarly discourses that we had to do every single week, and then you have to respond to 5 people, and I'm just like, ugh, bruh, I really don't want to respond to people. And then if you agree with everybody, she would take points off of that. She wants you to actually not agree with everybody and give feedback. So then I would start ripping people apart, and then boom, I was getting 100. So yeah, it kind of sucked because I hope they didn't get points deducted off for it, but at the same time I had to make sure that my grade was solid. So yeah, so I ended up leaving that class with a 95. So I did leave with the A, and I'm very happy with that. It definitely could have been better, but like I said, most of my point deductions were due to APA format, so definitely have to work on that next semester. So Nurse as an Educator was also a fluff class. I actually went into this class thinking that it was going to teach us how to teach other nurses, but no, it was teaching us how to teach patients. And I was like, I already know how to do patient education. I do patient education every single time I go to work. So again, a fluff class. It was nothing that I expected it to be, and we had to do like cultural teaching or cultural concepts. We had to do a health promotion teaching paper. It wasn't actually hard. I am just a big procrastinator. So our like health promotion thing, it was like you had to have a 20-page PowerPoint, and then you had to type in notes of how you would give the presentation. And then you had to do a patient education sheet and be creative. Then you had to do a patient eval to make sure that people learned from your class, and then you had to do, it was just a lot. So it was a lot of stuff, and I legit would sit down the day before. I legit sat down before the day it was due, and I did it. So it just puts more pressure on me because I just procrastinate. I ended up leaving Nurse as an Educator with a 96. So once again, I did get an A, but I can say that is the class that I actually had to put the most work in because she required a lot of stuff, like a lot of work. I feel like sometimes when you're taking classes online, instructors feel like you have more time to do work and they try to make up for the fact that you're not in class, which then turns into them just giving you a ridiculous amount of assignments, and that's exactly what this instructor did. So let's get into advanced clinical pathophysiology. So it is basically patho. There wasn't anything really advanced about it, except some of our questions would be from the point of view of a provider versus a nurse. So, you know, with a nurse, it tells you if you see a question and it says, what's the first thing you're going to do? You look for A, B, C, you know, airway, breathing, circulation. And that's kind of how you go. Like, are you going to do CPR? Are you going to call the doctor? Blah, blah, blah. And this in the FNP program, it is, you are the provider. This is what you see. What do you do? Are you going to order some labs? Are you going to send them to the ER? Are you going to make a referral to cardiology? Are you going to tell them this is nothing to be worried about? Or it's kind of those situations. So that's the only thing that I found was different in this class. I had weekly quizzes, and I can tell you my instructor, if you was watching my first vlogs or even on my Instagram stories, my instructor cannot pronounce a damn thing. And I should not be cussing in this video, but honestly, that needed to be included in there. She can't pronounce anything. I mean, simple medical words. She was having like papules. I forgot what she called it. And there was something else really simple that she couldn't pronounce. So listening to her PowerPoints were actually like cringy. I had to do it because sometimes she would throw information that was not in the book into the PowerPoint presentations, and then she would quiz us over it every week. So I had to listen to it, but I can honestly tell you that just listen to it just made my skin crawl. And it has nothing to do with like an accent, because I know from the South, like we call a yonker, like what you suction somebody's mouth out with. I call it a yonker because that's how I know it. That is how it's taught to me when I was in nursing school. Up here, upstate New York, almost in freaking Canada, they call it a yonker. So there's some things that are just accent different, but no, she legit could not pronounce anything. And towards the end, I just stopped listening to the PowerPoints, and I would just go based off of what was in the book compared to the PowerPoint PDF that she provided us. And then I would just, if it was something in the lecture that was not included in the book, I just had to either take an educational guess at that or try to pick random A, B, C, D. I mean, because I was at like the last 3 weeks, I could not listen to her PowerPoints. She was so so throughout the class, I was lingering around a 93, a 94 as far as my grade. I did not know, once again, me being a procrastinator, not really paying attention, trying to just get through the semester, I did not know that my test was cumulative. I thought it was from midterm until the end of the semester. And so then when she hit us with the, hey, your exam, your final is tomorrow, and it is 125 questions in 120 minutes over everything, I freaked out. I was not prepared. I am already a horrible test taker. I have really bad test anxiety, and I tend to need to read my questions multiple times, read the answers, do process of elimination, reread the question, read the answers, and then I pick either, if I know it, I know it. If I don't know it, I make a best educational guess based off of what I do know. So when you have less than a minute per question, it's really hard to do that. I can tell you guys I got a 70 on my final, so I completely bombed my final, which made me leave that class with an 88. I'm like, really? Very close to an A, but not quite an A. But still very frustrating, but I still have to put blame on me because I did not set myself to potentially succeed because like I said, I was focused on things from midterm into the end of the semester versus cumulative. So all the stuff that we learned at the beginning of the semester, I was like, I kind of remember that, kind of don't. And then the last class that I took was actually the class that I had to go to class for. So this is the only, my patho class was 100% online. My advanced assessment class is the only class that was not online, and I actually had to do it in class. So every single Thursday I did have to go to a actual classroom, and I went from 4:30 in the afternoon to 8:30 in the afternoon. Sometimes we would get out early depending on what our lectures were. My instructor was so I know I'm gonna sound rude, and I don't mean to come off that way, but and it's not that we didn't get along, because I really don't know him. He probably, I mean, I'm pretty sure he recognizes me because I'm the only black girl in the class with red hair. But it's not like me and him had conversations and talked. But it could be like a cultural difference that sometimes I never knew how to take him. I didn't know if he was being sarcastic and joking, or if he was just being rude and arrogant. A lot of people felt that way. It wasn't just me. I would email him and he literally would not email me back for like a week if I had a question on something. And by that time, it's like I tried to figure it out by myself because I had an assignment that was due. His assessments were kind of different from what we were referencing, which we used Bates head to toe physical assessment. So trying to figure out what he wanted us to do as far as assessments was very difficult. And then on my adult assessment, like my adult OSCE, he tried to say that I did not check pupils, and I'm like, dude, I legit check pupils in every single assessment that I do. I'm an ICU nurse. That's one of the main things that I'm going to do, is check for pupil reactions. And I really just didn't even want to argue with him back and forth, so I just let him deduct the 1 point whatever points that he took off. I was like, I'm not even going to argue, because honestly I just want to get out of this class. So yeah, that's kind of how that went. He wasn't mean, it's just I just didn't get much from the class. I felt like I just did better trying to study and figure out on my own, or figure out with some of the girls that I used to carpool with, some of my classmates. We would just try to do our best and get through it. So our first exam, if you watch my vlog, I'm going to briefly touch on it. So my first exam, we only had 2 exams in his class, which is very stressful, because if you bomb the first exam, you have to do really well on the second exam. Or if you do really well on the second exam, you still need to do really well on the last exam, because if you bomb it, then you can still fail. So it doesn't leave you much room to not do well. So the first exam, he gave us a blueprint, and it was like a super detailed blueprint. So I went directly off the blueprint, compared it to my our PowerPoints and lectures that we did in class, compared it to my books, even my reference book that was not mandatory for the class, but it was suggested. And there was so much stuff that he left off, and then there was just random things that he added in. And the same thing went for our final. Our final was not accumulative. It was from midterm until then, to the end of the semester, and it was over the older adult, pediatric and adolescents, teens. It was on the pregnant female. It was on male genitalia, female genitalia, rectum, prostate, anus. He legit threw in a musculoskeletal question about a knee. I was like, bruh, where did this question even come from? Thank God I knew it. I guess not thank God, but my husband actually had an LCL, ACL, MCL tear, and I knew a little bit about knee injuries due to that, and I got the answer right. But I'm just like, you legit picked a question from a random system that technically was not supposed to be on the final. So he was just very, I don't know, that class was just very difficult, and I felt like even though we went to class, I really didn't get much out of class, other than help doing some of the procedures the right way, such as like percussing the lungs and learning how to do neuro reflexes, which I still suck at, like, girl. So it is just like some of the things, some of the techniques I learned, but as far as like book work and the test, no, honey, he was no help there. I ended up leaving that class with a 91, so I still left with an A, but it is only because I study the way that I study for the final. I don't even know if he gave us a blueprint, because honestly, I didn't even look to see if he gave us a blueprint, because honestly, I didn't even look to see if he provided a blueprint. I was just like, I know that this is the sections that our final is being covered on, and I studied the way that I study. So even though I didn't get an A on the final, I legit gave myself a better chance of passing than what he gave me with the blueprint that he provided. So he actually said that he is actually leaving advanced health assessment, and he'll be teaching a class that I have to take next semester. So I don't know if he's going to be one of my professors. I haven't looked up who was my professor for that class. So I definitely need to see if he's going to be one of them. Hopefully there's like a Monday and a Thursday class. I am on a Monday class, so hopefully he's like the instructor for the Thursday class, because I can't even deal with him for a second semester. And it's not that he is a bad person or he's a mean person. It is just like I didn't get much out of him as a professor. And he would frequently say, like, when you guys do your surveys, like, I don't care if you don't like me as a professor or you don't like my teaching style. The surveys are supposed to be for how we can make the class better and not how I can change how I teach. Like, that's legit what he would tell us. So I'm like, not even gonna waste my time, not even gonna waste it. So so overall, the hybrid program I actually really do like. I like the fact that I can do majority of my classwork online, and then for like the big classes that I still am required to go to school, it's just because I feel like I can learn more techniques and hands-on things. I am a hands-on, like, visual learner. I need to feel it, touch it, do it, like muscle memory in order for me to get things, because I am such a bad test taker. I feel like I make up for it in my skills. So that is just me personally. That is just how I am. And although I left this semester with 3 A's and a B, and that B kills me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I just know that it is so important for me to just get the most out of the program, get as much information out of the program, because honestly, to be able to work as a nurse practitioner, I am going to learn more once I am out on my own in the real world. And the same thing goes for nurses, because honestly, I felt like I didn't learn a lot in nursing school, other than like some simple skills. And majority of the knowledge that I had, and most of the knowledge that I have right now, came from experience. And I know that's how it's going to be as a nurse practitioner as well. So I'm just trying to get through it and make the best of it. I am so scared of next semester, because next semester is supposed to be my hardest semester, and that is because I'm taking 14 credits, not because I want to. It is just how the curriculum is set up, and I am taking some of the toughest classes all in one semester. And then they said from that semester everything kind of gets easier. And I remember it was kind of the same thing for nursing. My first semester of nursing was so easy, and then I got into second semester and everything changed, and ooh child, it was a big learning curve for me. So I already have looked kind of at the classes that I'm going to take next semester, and I can tell you I'm already shook. Like, I know that I can't go into next semester being the same person that I was this semester. I can't go in procrastinating. I can't go in being unorganized. I can't go in with just having all my assignments in one place. I need to see them in multiple areas. So I am definitely going to prepare myself a little bit better next semester. Want to say thank you guys so much for rocking with me through this semester and following me on this journey and being so motivating and supporting and nice and comforting in times where I feel like I'm about to lose my mind, because I definitely needed it. I underestimated this program a lot, and I think that was just based off of how others make the nurse practitioner program seem, because I've worked with people who are now nurse practitioners, and I'm like, if he can do it, I know I can do it. And I'm specifically talking about one nurse who I was just like, I don't even know how he became a nurse. And if he can successfully become a nurse practitioner, I'm like, I know I can do it. And God was like, let me come bring you in here, sit you down and humble you real quick, because everybody's journey is different. And God just showed me, like, sit down, you can't judge anybody, that is not your place. And I sat down, shut up real quick. So I am trying to mentally prepare myself for next semester. I am going to actually enjoy this week off, and then I'm going to start getting myself organized and prepared for next semester. And you guys know I'm going to bring you along that journey with me as well. So make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and that you hit the notification button to let you know when I post videos, because I will be sharing with you guys what I am doing next semester as well as my clinical. So you'll know all about these 14 credit hours I got to take next semester. And yeah, we're just going to continue this journey. I was so shook that I wasn't even going to finish this semester. I was like, Lord, please don't let me fail my first semester. Like, y'all don't know, me and God been talking all semester because I have been stressed. I'm thanking him for waking me up and getting me through another day. It's not just asking for him to help me pass this class. It is just talking to him to just keep me calm and get me through what I need to get through. Yes, that's what I've been doing. That's how this semester went. It has been rough. And I know it's just going to get a little tougher from here on out, but I am ready for the challenge. And I hope you guys are ready to follow me and continue to follow me through this journey. And until the next video, I love all of you guys and appreciate you so much. Bye. Mwah.